Hi, it's Clo Bare. I know what you're probably wondering. Is there ever going to be a time where she doesn't apologize for not consistently posting videos? And the answer to that is probably not. So here is my, again, apology for not consistently posting. But welcome back to my channel. And I've got the same Washington, D.C. sweatshirt and recording at all the wrong times. And I'm excited to talk about 2020. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Actually, I guess more accurately, we're going to talk about 2019 because I recently wrote a post on 2019 and I'll leave a link to it below. And it was interesting. I kind of avoided writing it for a while because I felt like I didn't do anything in 2019, which after writing about it, I realized I did quite a bit of things. And it was all very project-based though. Like if you segmented my life into like all these different projects, it's like date somebody for 3 months, go to Italy for 2 weeks, start posting once a week, date somebody else, start this networking group, like all these different projects and things. But I guess for me, the reason I didn't feel like I did anything in 2019 is because personal growth wise, it was so different for me in comparison to what it was in 2018. 2018 was a crazy fucking year. It was like growth on growth on growth on growth. And, you know, in that year I did EMDR therapy to get over my PTSD. I broke up with my long-term boyfriend. I moved out of the apartment that we shared and I got a new job and I dated some really awful, horrible people in a very short period. And then I decided to start focusing on my own growth, and like it was just like one thing after another in terms of personal growth, but it wasn't necessarily like this huge amount of growth. And well, that's not even true. There was also huge amounts of growth in the rest of my life as well, where it's like changing a job, getting a huge promotion, and like doing things like that. So 2018 was so crazy, it made 2019 look very tame in comparison. But when I actually went through, and in this post that I wrote on Clo Bare, I realized, no, I actually did do quite a bit. And my personal growth was really significant this year too, because the biggest thing in terms of personal growth for me this year was I learned how to like trust myself, which when I say it sounds crazy. Because for those of you who just naturally trust yourself, which I don't know if there's a lot of people who trust themselves automatically, but it took me 28 years to get to a point where I'm like, I really trust myself. And I know that what I feel has valid origins and that what I feel isn't something that I need to hide or make an excuse for or explain away. And that's really cool. And it took years of therapy to get to the point where I do trust myself. But it's such a good feeling going into 2020, knowing that I can trust myself to know what's best for myself. And I can also trust myself to do what I need and allow myself to feel what I feel, if that makes sense. For example, last year I dated somebody for a while and I had some pretty significant anxiety around dating him because there were some issues that we kept running into and obstacles that it was like all these mental blocks that he had about dating me. And because of it, I was having all of these mental blocks about dating him. And every time I'd go to him, I'd be like, I feel this anxiety about our relationship. I feel like something's wrong. He would just say, no, nothing's wrong. Like, you're fine. You're crazy for thinking that. Like, it's just your anxiety talking. He didn't say it in a mean way, but it was very dismissive. And so I'd be like, oh, you're right. I'm just crazy. I'm just thinking of my anxiety again. And so I would let him tell me how to feel about our relationship rather than looking at my relationship and saying, no, something's not right. Something's not okay with this relationship. And you need to listen to your anxiety, dive into it, and understand that it's valid, that it's okay that you feel anxiety because something is wrong. You're not making this up. And so I came to my therapist with that and I was like, I don't know what I'm thinking with my trauma brain versus what I'm thinking with my gut. You know, everybody says, listen to your gut, trust yourself, yada, yada, yada. Well, if you're somebody who's dealt with PTSD or if you've been a human, you hear that and you think, okay, there's something wrong with me because I'm not listening to my gut. But what if you don't know what your gut feels like? Or what if it's been so silenced by people telling you not to trust what you feel, or that what you feel isn't valid. And so when I told her this, I was like, I often struggle with this thing where I don't really know if I'm thinking with my gut or my trauma brain. And she was like, why do you think you're thinking with your trauma brain? You're not, like, you have done all the work. You've worked through at least 50% of your trauma. Like, you're not thinking with your trauma brain anymore. And I was like, what? Are you telling me I'm supposed to, like, trust myself now? Because I'm not really sure I know how to do that. And she's like, yes. Like, I'm telling you to trust yourself because you've done the work. You have earned the right to trust yourself. And that was like just the most clarifying thing ever and the most affirming thing ever. And it kind of changed my perspective on everything for the rest of the year. And it's like, I get to trust myself now. And it's such a weird, freeing thing that it's kind of like, well, how do I just start doing that after a lifetime of not being able to do that? And turns out, because I've already done the work and because I've spent years in therapy and analyzing all my thoughts and understanding why I think the way that I do, trusting myself has been really simple. Because every time I start to doubt myself or think that somebody knows me better or knows what I need better than I do, I think I've done so much fucking work on myself in the last 5 years, and really in the last 2 years, that most people don't do in a lifetime. And so if anybody gets to doubt how they feel or doubt themselves or not be able to trust themselves, it's certainly not me. I am more qualified to trust myself and understand and know what I need more than anybody else. And coming to this realization that I've held that within me and have been able, like, I could have started trusting myself a while ago, but I just didn't, because I thought I thought I was thinking with the trauma brain. And giving those, like, keys, or getting those keys from my therapist to be like, go fly, it's fine, you're good. It's a weird experience. But that in 2019 was by far the biggest thing that happened to me. And a lot of big things happened to me. I had 2 relationships, which I would say in the spectrum of my relationships were probably pretty healthy in comparison to all of the relationships that I've been in. And like, there was open communication. We were able to talk about things. And yes, there were some things that were still missing and not okay, but there was no abuse and there was no, gaslighting, or at least not purposeful gaslighting. And that's progress. It wasn't the right 2 people, but they're heading in the right direction. And so I think that's pretty cool. Besides that, anyway, the post that I put up has a list of 20 questions that I took from another website that I linked to in the post. And it just kind of like goes through 2019 because I was having such a hard time writing it. I wanted some help in getting some questions to ask myself about 2019 and then also writing about it. And it was a really cathartic experience, and it was also really stretching because it was like I had to look at how I actually did grow and the evidence to support it and that I did grow. So I definitely recommend, if you care about how you exist in the world and want to be more self-aware and want to question your growth, do this. I'm going to start doing this more, where I just like take inventory of where I'm at and what I need and where I'm going. So I think it's really hard to keep growing if you don't have like baselines. And now for 2020, I have some baselines. And yeah, so check it out. I will leave a link in the notes below. But besides that, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around, even though I'm the most inconsistent YouTuber in the whole entire world. But I'm really, really excited about 2020. And some of the things that I'm going to be focusing on 2020 is mostly myself. I am not planning on dating at all in 2020, which is really fucking exciting. And it's like I don't know if you can tell, I'm getting giddy thinking about dating myself. Because I don't think I've really actually allowed myself that in my whole life. And to be not only, like, I have not dated out of necessity before, where I'm in survival mode, so the last thing I can do is date. But I have never not dated because I want to develop this relationship with myself more than anything else. And I'm at a healthy place. And I'm at a good, like, mental place. And now I just want to take care of myself. I want to treat me good. I don't want to waste treating people good on anybody else but me. And I don't really know if I've ever done that. And so it'll be interesting to see what 2020 brings. That's the main thing of 2020. And it's a main thing in a real way. Like, I've said this is the year of Chloe before, but, like, this is the year that I am going to continually put what I need first and be my own fucking boyfriend and partner and invest all the time that I have invested in this last year. In 2019, I invested a lot of time into relationships that didn't work out, and I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to invest all of that energy into me, which is going to be pretty dope. So anyway, thanks for watching again. And I will try to do better, but we all know I'm lying. So check out the post and share what were some of the biggest learning things for you in 2019 in the comments below, and I will definitely read them and definitely get back to you. And if you enjoy these videos, hit subscribe so I don't feel like a total loser.